So this is really important because it will determine how you're going to book your grant. When you receive it, what is it going to be used for? And this goes back again, if you do have an audit, if you have a monitoring review, you want to make sure that it is coded properly and you have the appropriate tracking mechanisms. If they do have a financial report at the end of the grant year, you want to make sure that you have a way to track all your grant expenditures and be able to pull a report easily, because trust me, it is not fun to get your general ledger at the end of a quarter or at the end of the year and try to determine what was for this program, what was for that other program, and it's a lot of work. And then also review your invoice procedures. Do we get the money up front? Do we have to submit a report quarterly to be able to invoice? Do we get the money at the end? Is it contingent upon you meeting certain KPIs? Because if so, this is going to determine also how you're going to project your cash flow for the rest of the year or for the rest of whatever the grant program year is. And you're not going to count on that money at the beginning of the year if it's going to be paid in different payments or different installments. So make sure you understand that. Define who will be allocating costs. So not everyone in your organization is going to be allocating costs to that grant. So you have to have very specific roles defined on who is able and allowed to be allocating costs and who is reviewing them and who's approving them. We want to make sure that it's someone who understands the program, understands what's allowable and not allowable in that grant. And then I just added this last one, allocable, reasonable, allowable. It's something that the federal government keeps on drilling into us. If you've ever been to a federal grant management training, they tell you these three terms and you're like, what? What is that? It's just a sort of, there's a lot of controversy about certain different ways that you can allocate costs, but just make sure that you are consistent in allocating costs. So for example, this clicker, if you put this under supplies, make sure you continuously put this under supplies in your accounting codes versus, I don't know, equipment. Reasonable, don't fly first class, for example, to a conference. You have to make sure that you have that backup documentation to say, okay, well, I'm not splurging on this. This is the actual cost, and this is a reasonable cost of whatever you would do if it were your own personal budget, for example. And then allowable are the guidelines allowing you to purchase this clicker or purchase, Steven the skeleton and things like that. Project management tool. So there's a lot out there that we can use. There's some that have a certain cost associated to them. And if your organization is ready, I definitely encourage some kind of project management tool for grant management. I'm not specifically saying one is better than the other, but just some things to keep in mind. Calendars, for example, that's free. Everyone has an inbox, and that comes with the calendar. So make sure that you're creating checkpoints, reminders, and adding those deadlines. And not necessarily just when a report is due,